Hello and welcome to AntipoDnD, our second show for this week, which wasn't actually planned. It just happened we weren't able to do one last week. And hey, it was a cliffhanger 2 days ago, so all worked out well. Thank you, Gemdanen. Now, this is a show in which a bunch of Australians play Dungeons and Dragons in a setting partly inspired by prehistoric Australia and New Zealand. And given the current situation, you can see where the partly inspired comes from, because there are other inspirations as well. We don't actually have airships, flying daggers, giant crystals exploding in the air normally in Australia. It's more of a
especially on the paper we have to tell everyone that.
Yeah, it's more of a New Zealand thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they got the orcs at least.
So I'm
David. The biggest
David.
fantasy is reliable transport systems. So
I'm David. I am the Dungeon Master for this show. I'm joined as ever by Kynwyn, Doug, April, and Zindy. And let's have a quick recap of what happened just 2 days ago on this show. So our heroes have been investigating the Tarthian delegation that is in Providence. The delegation was there allegedly to negotiate the establishment of an embassy in the city, peace relations, officially ceding the city that was once theirs to its now owners. But Izod of the Coruscant Academy was deeply suspicious of the Tarthian motives, as indeed were many people in the city, but they had no way to prove that the Tarthians were up to no good, and therefore no reasonable excuse to kick them out of this city of opportunity and equality. So Izod asked our heroes to investigate the Tarthians, a process that ended up taking several days, perhaps a bit longer than Izod might have hoped. It culminated in our heroes sneaking in, one disguising himself as Alkanost Wright, attorney at law, with Morzod as his bodyguard, while
Morzod, played by Morzod.
Played by Morzod, pretty much, in his guise as the Iron Chef, who was really just Morzod with an apron. And while this is going on, Orsi cast invisibility on Dagmar and Glow, who had been Orsi's familiar, who had been turned into a spider, a velvet tarantula, according to the dice. So invisible Dagmar and Glow also snuck into the upper levels to try and see what they could see, only to discover that the doors were locked and a velvet tarantula cannot fit under a door, which complicated matters. While this was going on, some of Vetericus's questions might have made the Tarthians, or one of the Tarthians, a little bit nervous. So he had words in a ciphered language that nobody could understand with another Tarthian, who quickly bolted the door behind them, and moments later something happened. In fact, a great many things happened. The crystal that floats above the Panopticon, this tower that they're in, exploded. This crystal that once housed the power of Desmina. Moments later, one of the Tarthian guards who was in the council chambers also exploded, but in a particularly violent and bloody manner, and Dagmar was just able to observe and feel the effects of this, as it appears most, if not all, of the council members present in that room were killed, along with many members of the public, some crystal guards. Dagmar and Captain Cadron survived. Dagmar ran downstairs after failing to convince Cadron to do the same. Captain Cadron ran upstairs to face the threat. Downstairs, Orsi had encountered another Tarthian mage who seemed a bit nervous, and he was able to discover that this mage was clutching onto a scroll of shatter. With a quick intervention, quick thinking, and the aid of a local priest of Desmina who happened to be attending to the temple at the time, Orsi was able to stop this mage from destroying a statue on the ground floor, which Orsi has quite reasonably assumed covers the ancient Tarthian teleportation circle, which might have been used to bring in reinforcements or as an escape plan, perhaps. They defeated this mage and left his body smouldering on the ground, and then regrouped and ran outside as they started to hear explosions and whooshing sounds. They then saw Tarthian ships, apparently new technology, a design much more advanced than the 60-year-old models that the city inherited after its revolution. These like dagger-like small bombers that are flying over and dropping grenades onto the city. And they also saw rising out of the ocean not one but two carriers, these submersible large vessels that have been launching these bombers towards the city. And as they're looking at all of this and trying to work out what to do next, a terrible sound arose from the city around them as thousands of voices started to scream in absolute rage. And our heroes are completely out of control, have that same rush of absolute fury overtake them. They all turn towards the Tarthians that are approaching them or towards the tower and just let out an animalistic cry of absolute fury and outrage. And that is where we're picking up. And the first thing I'm going to do is ask everyone to give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
Yeah, 5.
Also 5.
12.
13.
Oh, you all fail. So
Okay, I'm mad anyway.
yeah, you're pretty mad. Now, you are all filled with this absolute righteous fury. This isn't just wild, smash anything. This is a directed rage at the Tarthians. They have done a terrible thing. They have assaulted this city. They have destroyed the power of Desmina, and they must die. All Tarthians must be eradicated from this world. Enough is enough. And how exactly your character is going to respond to that depends a bit on your character, but at the moment you all know that there are Tarthians flying past you on these bombers. There are also Tarthians still up in that tower, and you know that they are directly responsible for what just happened. So what are you going to do? Actually, what I'll do, this is not for combat, but I will get everybody to roll initiative. This will be to see who reacts first.
What order we yell in?
Wait.
Wow.
There's the
Wow.
nat 20.
Oh,
That's my natty 1.
my initiative go.
I got 8.
But
Okay.
a natty 1 in this case means I get to be really cool.
Yeah. You get to follow
Dag's
the
got
others. So, Vitericus, you are the first to respond to however this rage is going to, wherever this rage will drive you. What does Vitericus do?
Describe to me the crowd around us.
At the moment, it is still largely just the regular people who would be hanging around. So there's just a few civilians. There are some, or there would have been some crystal guards, but they've all rushed into the tower.
Tourists in Hawaiian shirts.
There are some town guards who, just some of the regular city watch who, at the moment, are reloading their muskets because they appear to have been trying to shoot at the bombers flying overhead with little effect. But everybody around you has also screamed in absolute rage, and you get the impression that they are probably also overtaken by this fury that you feel.
Wonderful. In that case, then, I am going to, in my loudest possible voice, stand up somewhere, reasonably plinthy on the outside of the Panopticon and call out, "Good people of Providence, Tarth is here and they lay claim to your wrists, to the sweat of your brow. Are you going to let them take you back into slavery?"
Give me persuasion with advantage.
22.
Yeah, that's pretty convincing. And everyone around you goes, "No!"
There are Tarthians at the top of the Panopticon who think that they are better than you. Are you going to let them sit there and declare themselves masters of this city?
And before you even finish that sentence, they don't bother to respond. There are Tarthians at the top of that tower, and they all start charging into the tower.
Perfect. I will lead the charge.
Cool. And what are the rest of you going to do?
Question about the bombers, real quick. Is it like a Naushka Valley of the Wind situation where they're like standing on them or like sitting on them in the open, or is it like a B-52 bomber situation?
Yeah, I wish I understood that for first reference, but I think I can visualize what you're talking about. You do not visually see people on these things. You think that they are enclosed with people inside them.
Like a little fighter. Okay. All right, Aussie's going to follow
Okay.
the boss.
Dagmar?
Dags has her bow out, knocked, and she is trying to keep up with the horde, but she's probably not as fast as most of them.
And Morzod.
Morzod, being the last one to actually move on all of this, he has just taken a moment to just drink in this scene, this amazing thing that's happening, this big fight. He is so ready. So he cracks his knuckles. He's ready for this one. Grabs Dags. Let's go.
Cool. All right, so you all charge into the ground floor of the Panopticon, and I'm going to move us over there and reposition us. So you should all have tokens in there. Why don't you move yourself to... Well, I'll put Morzod down near the entrance, and the rest of you, now that you can see where that is, you can all move down somewhere near him as you're running in.
Bringing up the rear.
There's also a crowd. It's good that I already had some commoners in here, charging in with you. I shall open up the SRD compendium in Foundry. Thank you, Foundry VTT. This is useful. And I shall add a couple more commoners. Since there were already a few in there. And actually, no, these ones probably don't know yet that there are Tarthians up above, so they're milling around looking for something to hit.
I didn't hear Viddy. He was pretty loud.
The top brass is in this tower, right? Like,
yeah, This is like a terrible idea.
Certain death with like 3 like level 20 wizards.
And
you're too angry to think about that right now.
Good.
Exactly.
A couple of guards running in there with you. Okay. Cool. And as you run in, Vetericus at the lead, it is just in time to see coming down. I shall roll just to see which stairs they come down. 3, so they're coming down the left side. You see some of the very Tarthians that you have run in here to attack. Okay, let me just make sure I'm putting the right ones in. Put the right ones in.
Wrong ones out, you put the right ones in, and you shake them all about.
It's Kova, Garum, and Kilaxis.
Oh, Graham!
Stop that.
Was the other guy's name Calexis?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Along with 2 guardians.
Stay away from
Yeah. I just very quickly see you come, Vitericus, since you're leading the charge, you come in just in time to see them coming down the steps. You do note that one of the masked Tarthians is not with them, and you also note that the one with the silver mask, who you were speaking to upstairs, appears to have been injured. He is clutching on to what looks like a gunshot wound, and is bleeding from it. And we are now going to roll. I'm going to just grab everyone in this space, add them to combat. Please go to your. Hang on. There
Press
we go.
the fist button.
Please go to the fist button and roll initiative.
Now I would like my natural 20 again, please. No, that's a 7.
Jesus.
Wizards. I don't want to go first.
Too bad.
No.
Fireball.
And
Ah!
No, it's dirty, but it works.
I really like that those
Counterspell is my issue.
those musky dude avatars you got. They look a little bit like Tyrians. I like this.
Ooh, Tyrian.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
boy.
They do kind of.
Except we want to kill these ones, so they're not Tyrians.
For my mother, that's a Mass Effect reference. Because I know you'll be watching this and wondering what a Turian is.
Weirdly
And-
attractive.
I'm just very quickly, because I was not expecting a bunch of town guards and commoners to run into this room of Vitericus, I'm just very quickly adding them to my encounter tracker. And I am now ready. So, Orsi, you're going first.
I think a little bit, maybe enough time has passed now. I think a little bit before I cast Expeditious Retreat on myself. Would that have worn off by now?
What's the
It only
duration?
lasts 10 minutes. I feel like probably it's
No,
worn
it's
off.
been less than 10 minutes, I'd say. It's only been
Okay.
about 2 or 3 minutes.
30 bloody
Okay.
seconds. Stuff moves so fast.
Very
Right.
wild 3 minutes.
It has been. Okay, in that case, I'll keep that in mind. And Orsi is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He's making his way towards the statue to try
Cool.
and protect it.
And just in case you don't know, these black walls do extend all the way to the ceiling, so they completely
Cool.
block line of sight.
And then I think as a bonus action, I can dash too. So
Fast boy.
Because Expeditious Retreat, yes.
There's Expeditious Retreat. Dash is half my movement or full movement?
Full movement again.
5, 10, 15. Wait. I was here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay. He's going to stand there. Wait, can I hide behind the pillar?
It's not
Is that a pillar? No,
It's-
that's the hole in the middle of the room.
Yeah, and there is a sort of guardrail around it. It's about waist high, and it doesn't really offer any cover.
Yeah, that's not really going to block a fireball. I'm
No.
just going to stand here, and you know what? He's angry, so he's not really thinking.
Any action?
That's me.
No action?
No. I will. I'll cast Mind Sliver. That's 60 foot. 60 foot. Can I? Yeah.
Just in range.
Wow. Perfectly. So which one is the injured one? Silver Mask?
Silver Mask.
Okay, I will cast Mind Sliver on Silver Mask.
Okay.
That's against a wizard's intelligence saving throw of 14, please.
And that reminds me, I need to halve his hit points because he has been injured. No, he gets a 20 on his intelligence save.
Yeah, of course he does.
Yeah, I mean a total of 20, not a nat, but still enough.
It's okay. It was a cantrip, and it's fine. Okay,
Cool,
that's
so-
me. I'm done.
so
I'm
no
just gonna
effect?
stand there.
Okay.
No.
All right. It is this guard's turn, and they're going to do what any enraged guard will do. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and nope, just going to keep moving.
Yep.
Double move. That's that guard's turn, and they're now essentially blocking the steps. And the next turn is the Guardian, who is standing directly in front of that guard. So that Guardian is going to... Okay, yep. Pistol time. So he pulls, he already has a flintlock pistol, and is just going to shoot point blank at this guard.
Cool.
Ooh, with a 10, that's not going to hit. They're not very accurate pistols. So whatever, he drops the pistol, brings out his, now grips his halberd with both hands, is ready to strike, but that is the end of that Guardian's turn. The other guard is just going to follow the first. Does that guard... No, that guard can't take an action because they had to double dash to get up there. It is the other Guardian's turn. They cannot get face to face, so they're going to try a pistol shot at range. Becomes inaccurate beyond 15 feet, which means they are rolling this with disadvantage. A 12 is not bad. A 12 actually hits. So this guard takes... (2d8 plus 3 damage. Ugh. Terrible roll. This guard only takes... 11 points of damage. Which is just enough. So yeah, the first guard fires at point blank range, but it is so taken aback by this guard running at him that he misses. But then the second Guardian behind the Tarthian Ascendants manages to take a snapshot, which flies past all of his allies and hits this first guard directly in the throat, and he collapses and is dead.
Woo!
All right. It's a commoner. Just one of the various people. No weapons, nothing ranged, but is just going to charge up those steps and try to eventually get into a place where he can just punch their faces in.
We brought in cannon fodder.
Next commoner is going to do the same. This is getting a bit crowded on those steps, and now it is the injured Tarthian wizard's turn. So many options.
Oh no.
Ooh. Eee. Oh,
No.
I'm like a kid in a magic store.
No, so many spells to choose from.
It is going to be... All right, can also give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Yeah. Not good. 8. I got 26 hit points.
Okay. The Silver Masked Guardian hurls a small mote of light that flies towards you. Not directly towards you, Orsi, but close to you. As he targets a fireball at the statue that you are standing next to.
Beans.
You take 21 points of fire damage. And
Basically dead.
the statue... Oh, actually, a 20-foot radius. It gets more than just... Oh. Priest or commoner? Priest or commoner? What would a Tarthian kill? I'm going to roll.
Counterspell.
Asshole.
Should have counterspelled that.
Do you have your reaction?
I do.
I will let you counterspell it.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay.
Counterspell.
Go, Aussie, go, go, Aussie, go, go, Aussie, go.
You can do it.
Now remind me, do you need to roll something for counterspell?
I assume he's doing a fireball, so that's a 3rd level spell,
Yeah.
and counterspell is also a 3rd level spell. So I think we have to roll
No, if the creature is
Oh, wait.
casting a spell
It's
of 3rd or
4th
lower.
level. Yeah,
Yeah,
4th
so it
level or
auto-
higher.
So you automatically counterspell. So yeah, this you do see this mode of light coming towards you. You've seen this spell. You've cast it before, and you quickly cast counterspell, and this mode of light just fizzles away into smoke and ash. Well done. And
No
I
3rd level
wanted that-
spells.
I wanted that to turn into one of those Zelda things, like you hit it back, and he's got to do
Oh,
a
then
throw
I
to hit
have
it to
a-
you again, and then you just
An
have to
endorphin
use it
bonus.
until one of you misses. Yeah.
Wizard Pong.
Yeah.
Wizard
Oh
Pong.
yeah.
I've got no counterspells left, so.
So that is Garom's turn. Except, does he have any bonus abilities? No, I do not think he does. Okay, next is Kova Fen, the Supreme Ascended.
No, I'm so scared. What can she do?
Well, the good news is she's used up some of her highest level spells.
She's got no 9th level spells, guys, don't worry.
All right. Easy beans.
Still got a face full of exploded guy. I'm super
Meteors.
psyched that she's here.
Meteor Swarm, let's do it.
That's
Aha. 100 feet long, 5 feet wide.
She is talking about the Tarask.
Is that a thunder? Oh, don't.
All right.
Suddenly super glad that me and Morsey are right at the back of this murder pit.
Oh, damn. It's the statue or the 2 targets. Ooh, what would she
Do you want
do?
to kill our wizard?
Yeah,
Man, I
honestly,
don't got any counterspells left and don't.
look,
His
I'm going.
boyfriend's on the way. You gotta let
How
him live.
badly?
I
how
can't
badly does she
decide, so
want
I'm
her?
going to roll for it.
Oh, shit.
18. She is attacking the statue. You're very lucky.
Well, no, we're not, because I bet I know what's going to happen to his
Yeah,
statue.
Yep.
30 Tarthians materialize. It's just-
Yeah, Kova Fen, the Golden Mask. Actually, thought just occurred to me, she can actually move a little bit. And yes, so she's still missing Orsi, but she can just get the priest and the statue. Yep, so
You see
she...
the priest through the wall? That's
yeah,
Garum.
it's close, isn't it?
That's Garum. That's Graham.
Bah.
Yes. So Graham can see the wizard. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
No,
this thing
you're
I
right.
said about games.
You're quite right. You're quite right. She can only hit the statue. Well done.
Saved a cleric
Perfect.
Yay!
Yeah,
for now.
great. I'm very happy about that.
So the statue takes
Maybe a nice divine intervention would be nice, Mr. Priest.
8d6, which comes to 26 points. And with that, this statue just explodes as this surge of lightning goes into it, and the whole thing just shatters. Got bits of bronze flying everywhere into the room. And also, you can now see just a little bit of a rubble remaining, and on the ground, this circle of runes, which, even though it's only theoretical to you at this point, you are fairly certain that this is a teleportation circle.
Did you want me to make any saves to avoid large chunks of statue?
No, I'm not
Later.
that mean. I'm
Oh,
mean.
okay.
I'm mean, but not that mean.
Okay, thank you.
And Kova Fen shouts out something, but all you hear is their ciphered, scrambled language, so none of you can understand it.
Beep boop, it's binary.
Dagmar, it's your turn.
You're currently Morzod mounted, by the way.
I think I'm going to scramble off Morzord at this point.
Right.
Sort of enter the temple, which I currently have not been able to see anything happening. Look at all these people. Yeah, look, I'm just going to shoot someone. What's my range? 80 feet. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, they're all in range.
Which one's injured? Is it Garen?
Garam with the silver
Garam.
mask.
Oh yeah, we're gonna aim for Garam. I think I've still got acid damage enabled, and I'm gonna stick with it because I like the hiss.
Get him in the eye. Get in at 20. Melt his eye.
I'm gonna try.
I shoot her. I shoot her. Brunhilde, let's go.
23, not a natty.
That is a hit. That is very much a hit.
Sadly, no sneak attack there. But he takes 10 damage.
10 damage.
10 acidy damage. Make
But
sure
hang
it
on.
hurts.
Did this guy take damage in a previous round? I might have forgotten to actually put it in.
Said he was no, he didn't, because I cast a spell on him, but it didn't affect him. But
That's
He said
right.
he looked injured.
Yeah,
Cool.
he had the
okay.
gunshot wound.
Yeah, but he, with already bleeding from the torso, and now a streak of burning acid hits him, and with very satisfying, which you probably didn't hear through Discord. But he is now starting with just the pain of it. He leans on the handrail that is on the side of the steps coming down, and he's looking in pretty bad shape. Anything else, Dagmar?
How angry are we? Like, have I got any control of my brain, or am I just
You
like...
got any chill?
Have I got any sense? Would I have the sense to back away out of the door, or am I just like going gung-ho?
I think because you've attacked, then you are doing what needs to be done, so you can be smart and sensible. You haven't taken complete leave of your senses, as long as you're in a position where you are fighting Tarthians.
Excellent. Dagmar has now encountered a few wizards, and she is going to just nip back here for now.
That's probably smart.
Yeah. Actually, back here. Yeah.
Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20. These commoners are just basically lining up. Hang on. Yeah. Can just make it about there. It is Vitericus's go.
Yes.
He's angry. You wouldn't like him when he's
I am angry. So let's go with this. There is a couple of options before me, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to here so that I can see. Oh, there are 3 wizards. Cool. That's right. The white mask is
So
not
many
the
wizards.
silver mask. That's okay. I am going to. I'm going to call out so that the crowd can hear me. Behold how these Tarthians' magic betray them, and I'm going to heat metal Kovafen's mask.
Yeah, heat metal is the best spell in D&D.
And because I'm not particularly thinking straight, I think I'll 3rd level heat metal her mask.
whipped.
How did I not see this coming?
Yes, it's the best
He's been heat
spell.
meddling everything.
She's gonna get a
Made of
brand, and
tea.
she's gonna come back at 100 episodes, and she's gonna get you.
So
And
At
just to
3rd
add
level?
insult to injury, I'm going to do it in Kovafen's voice and burn a bardic inspiration on unsettling words to screw up her saving throw against it.
okay, what is her saving throw?
It is a
What does she roll?
Constitution saving throw, I believe. Let's have a look. Yes, Constitution saving throw
Wizard-
minus.
What wizards
Wizard.
are renowned for being good at?
Yes,
let's see your
naturally
con
very
save,
high
wizard.
con. Mhm.
-6? Really?
-6 to her con
Hell
save.
yes.
So that is a 14 -6. So
Can
she
the
gets
mask
8,
just become
which,
the sun?
which I'm pretty sure is a
Like
failure.
that scene in Game of
That
Thrones where he
is
just melts the
indeed
gold
a
and
failure,
Yeah.
which means that she takes... that wasn't the best roll in the world. She takes 10 damage to the face.
Mm-hmm.
And because she failed the con saving throw, she has to throw or drop the object if she can.
Hell
If she
Okay.
yeah.
can't, she has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of my next turn.
Yeah. She immediately just screams, and it's not scrambled or ciphered, this scream of agony that suddenly comes out from her as she rips this mask off her face. And you can now see her dark skin with these sort of white tattoos on it. But you can also now see some very fresh burn marks as this golden mask has actually is slightly liquid now because
I'm gonna say, what degree is that?
yeah, because
Really low melting temperature.
yeah, because something that's going to turn a iron red, hot, red hot, is going to melt gold, and she actually still has some pieces of gold clinging to her face.
Does that count as she can't throw it away?
That's a James Bond villain origin story.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's fair, Zindy. She can't throw it away. So she no longer has the advantages of wearing the mask. But for the purpose of heat metal, she is still wearing the mask.
Got to maintain concentration on that one then. And then I'm going to use the rest of my move to duck back behind the wall.
Okay.
Where?
Bards.
so handy.
Calaxis, this is the tiefling mage with the white mask, but you can clearly see the horns and the tail. What are they going to do?
Freak out? I would.
Take my mask off personally.
Yep.
Well, that's probably a good idea.
It's like, is my mask porcelain or metal? I'm going to check.
Or maybe it's porcelain.
Yeah, Calaxis is actually going to bound over the steps, and it's high enough there that I'll get them to make an acrobatics save.
It's all on your face, nerd.
Ugh. I think a 5 is, falls on the face. Takes a little bit of bludgeoning damage.
Like a potato.
His ego is irreversibly
2 points of
It will
bludgeoning
never
damage.
recover.
And I'm going to say that has to be his entire move now.
Nice.
He fell
he-
over.
He spends the rest of his move basically trying to stand up again after falling rather painfully. He can still take an action, which is going to be... Yeah. I don't know, maybe he should have cast this first, but it's a bit late for that. He is casting invisibility on himself, so he just disappears from sight.
So embarrassed, he just whoop.
A lot of shame.
Well,
It's actually
gone
part of
in-
the spell component.
had he gone invisible and fallen and taken damage, I guess he would have had to have rolled concentration on it.
That's true,
Yeah,
he
exactly.
would have.
Great.
Yep.
Turn invisible, fall off the stairs, become visible again straight away. That's peak Tarth right there.
Rolled on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
Everyone in the building just stops and stares for a second.
Morzod, it is your turn.
Man, I can't do anything to beat what these guys have done. Holy shit. Also, where I am, I can't actually see anything that's going on. So I have no idea what's happened.
Yeah, you've been
I guess-
hearing... You've heard a lot just happened. You've heard
Yeah.
2 flintlock pistols fired. You've heard
Yep.
a fireball
Rocks
fizzle out.
cracking,
You've heard a lightning
fireball.
bolt.
Yeah, lightning bolt and the
You saw the
hissing-
statue.
Yeah, you-
Yeah, I could see the statue. Did Ozzy take any damage for that one? Sorry, remind me.
No.
No,
He's
no.
alright.
Okay. Yeah, because I was
Fine
thinking,
DM.
oh, did you have to? Yeah.
Orsi did take damage earlier, though.
Oh, I didn't because I counterspelled the fireball, so
That's
no
right.
damage.
Yep, so you're
Yeah.
not almost
Yep,
dead. Yeah.
No.
No.
I was thinking, hang on a minute, he's been on the field for 30 seconds.
Still standing,
Like a
baby.
flower.
Yeah.
The glass cannon.
What would Mozart do?
WWMD.
And conveniently, your chair is already on the battlefield.
Yeah, there it is, just over there. Actually, you know what? That probably is the first thing he'd do. So what I might do is move up to. Yeah, all right. So I've got a little bit of line of sight there, but I'm not like leaping out in the fray. And I think it does take me a turn to summon the chair, and I'm absolutely going to summon the chair. So, let me use the rules on that thingy.
Yeah. Just a quick look. That's...
Yeah, spiritual folding chair takes an action to summon, and then it's my bonus action after that.
And range, you can summon it up to 60 feet away from you.
60 feet.
Yeah, so you could have it
All right,
hovering in the air
let's
next.
count some. How do I do this again? Measurement controls.
Just hold down
then,
Control,
and then,
and draw.
So how many feet is it?
So from where you are, yeah, anywhere next to these mages would be within 60 feet, and of course anywhere closer.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna stick it just on the step. Whoa, okay. There's that thing. I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay. Just go back. Just go back to your token control. I'll delete that.
Yeah,
there you go.
Cool beans. But yeah, just right in front of Gold Mask there is where I want to stick my folding chair.
Cool. You should be able to click and drag it. I think I
can. I can.
There you go.
Boy.
Yep, you have control.
Yep. So Mozart's pointing up there, and the blooming holy light of a righteous folding chair out of nowhere.
Cool. Okay. Any bonus moves? Bonus actions, Morzod?
I don't think I really have anything that's terribly useful in my bonus.
You've not used all of your movement, so you could go in a bit further.
Yeah. I'm sort of wondering where I should. Actually, what I might get Morzod to do, because these are all our dudes, aren't they? They're the the commoners. I'd have to wade through all of them to get my teeth into the mages.
Which would be funny to see.
It would, and Morzod is absolutely in the mood to just like crowd surf his way up there.
Yeah, I'm now just imagining Mythbusters, the truck with the cow catcher going plowing through the cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One guy falls off the edge.
I kind of wish I had some kind of berserk mode that I could do that with. Unfortunately, me cleric at this point, so I don't quite have that. Yeah, look, there's not a real great deal that I can see him doing until he started belting things with the chair. Unless, there was.
I mean, you can start running up the stairs if you want. Like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, why not? Let's crowd surf. Is there a square for me to even stand there though? Like, how much distance have I got?
You could stand here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I'd have to wade through everyone else. I don't think that.
Well, they have a guy on the ground floor.
They are allies, so they would let you past.
Yeah, I guess.
And
then the first guy on the stairs up here is the nearest one, aside from invisible falls on face dude. Which, I mean, I've lost track of him. He's invisible. Morzod wouldn't know where he is anyway because he was out of line of sight when that happened. But yeah, like because I've got what's my run speed? 30 feet. And I need measured distance. Because, like, 30 feet only gets me there and there's nowhere to stand. Yeah.
So you probably just get in line.
I think Morzod would just kind of hang out where he is because at least he can juke himself back if someone fires something at him at this point.
Cool. Okay. It is another commoner's turn. The last one to run in. They're going to join the queue. I'm next. And the priest. We've got a 4.
My boy.
Hey, I thought I added... Fine. I shall look at their abilities in Foundry since I forgot to add them to my encounter in D&D Beyond. Okay, the spiritual weapon they cast in the previous fight has probably gone down by now, so... They're going to cast Guiding Bolt.
Oh, yes, that's a good one. I've got that one.
That's a ranged spell attack.
120 feet. Yo.
Okay, so I shall roll that. Ugh, that is a miss, sadly. Only rolled a 5 on the hit.
Darn.
But they're going to charge forward. And they know that the invisible wizard is around there somewhere, and they're hoping they might sense something. Back to the top. Orsi, the statue has exploded.
Bad. Orsi is going to cast Fog Cloud at 2nd level and put up 40 feet of fog from about here. Come on. Like that. That's all fog now. If I may. Because if anyone's coming out of there, they're going to be coming out confused.
Nice.
And if that wizard is invisible and he's running around in the fog, then he's going to leave a vapor trail.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Anything else on your turn, Orsi?
Let me just double check the spell because I don't use it often. Yep, spell slot of 2nd or higher. The radius of the fog increases by 20 feet for each slot. Okay, so yeah, it's 40 feet. It's heavily obscured, so anyone trying to aim at anything in the fog has disadvantage, and anyone in the fog has advantage on, not being hit.
Cool. But you would also have disadvantage.
Can't see.
Yeah,
yes.
Cool. That's fine.
Yeah, so he's going to cast that, and because he's still standing next to the circle, like it's within 5 feet, I'm sure he can still sort of make it out a little bit.
Yeah, you can see that. You can certainly see that you are standing next to the teleportation circle.
Whoa, that's not what I want to do.
You got a spell of Destroy Teleporter?
Let me check. Oh, I left it in my other spell book.
Oh, rip.
10,
Happens all the time.
15, 20. I think he's just going to bend down and start looking at the runes. Like, I've already used my action, but he's going to start seeing if he can get his brain around what he can see.
Okay. We'll probably I'll probably make you roll for that on the next turn if you're trying to decipher anything specific. Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Bonus actions. No, I'm good.
All right. Dead guard isn't going to do anything for obvious reasons. And I'm going to get them off the field to avoid confusion. Guardian in front is going to move forward. No, he's not. Because he has reach on his halberd.
Okay, that guard has flexibility.
So that is a 13 to hit a regular guard, which I think is not enough. Nope. Swinging, actually, tries to stab forward with a halberd, and the guard. Regular guards actually have a lot of armor.
Higher AC than me, man. Good for them.
Not many hit points, but their armor's pretty good. And next, I should probably take the corpse of Merriman from the previous session out. Okay, now it is the guard who is just almost hit with a halberd. And this guard is going to attack with... does this one have a pistol or not? I shall roll to determine yes or no. No, they do not. So that is just going to be a spear attack, which is also a... No, it's not a reach weapon. Why is it not a reach weapon? Anyway, but that means going forward. Roll of 12 does not hit a guardian. No. So you've now got these two guards just poking the air around each other. Commoner. Which commoner? Commoner in front is going to charge forward and is actually going to... Yeah, this one's going to pick up the spear of the guard who died here. So this commoner is now armed. And yeah, that commoner is going to continue charging forward. This commoner is suddenly surrounded by fog cloud and has no idea what is going on, but can hear the sound of battle. So it's just going to keep moving in
bud.
General direction and join the death queue. And Garum with the silver mask sees the fog cloud and says something, basically just swears in common. This is not a disguised voice. And is going to join Kilaxis by bounding over the steps. Also needs to make an acrobatics save. Acrobatics roll. That's even worse.
Yeah.
So he lands on Galaxis.
on the mask, cracks it.
Yep, because Kilaxis was invisible, didn't realize that he was bounding down onto his ally.
Oh no. Concentration save.
I'm pretty sure ascended to the head is anti-concentration.
I have got to get Dispelled Magic. I don't know why I haven't gotten it yet.
You too busy getting fireball?
Too busy getting fireballs.
Garum actually takes a lot of bludgeoning damage and is looking really bad now. Kilaxis takes a little bit and therefore needs to make a constitution save, or a concentration save, sorry. What?
Oh!
Rolls a 2.
No way!
So Kilaxis is now visible under Garum. Garum uses the rest of his movement to stand up and get off his ally. Still has his action. And
he's not stunned from that fall?
No, he's not stunned. But loses the rest of his movement. He would have been able to run into the fog cloud otherwise. And yeah, it's time. Damn it, cannot see Vatericus. Is going to cast a spell on the priest.
Wow, that priest is straight up facing two high ascended wizards.
He's the real MVP of this match.
He really is.
He hasn't learned what we have, which is to scatter and hide behind shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he's about to learn things, I think.
If he survives.
He's got the power of God and anime on his side.
Yeah. What color's his hair? Is he actually a protag?
I will say that none of you can clearly see what's going on because of all of the fog and because Morzod and Dagmar don't have line of sight to the priest. So you might be aware that a spell has been cast on the priest, but you don't know what happened as a result. And it's Kova Fen. Kova Fen's going to keep taking damage, isn't she?
In my turn, yes.
Okay, so not yet.
Not yet.
And I think Kova Fen is going to use her action to claw the rest of the gold off her face. So she is still going to take that damage because it's sort of on her fingers and, you know, she's wiping it off. But this will, in fact, have it after this turn, she'll have it removed. And she is... Oh, please succeed in your acrobatics check. Just one of you.
She's jumping as well?
Yeah.
She's the boss. Come on.
Disadvantage
oh my
on
God.
ability checks because her face is melted.
Yes. Fall over.
Yeah.
Do these guys
Stop
just
jumping over the wall. All on top of each other at once.
So
I'm just imagining like bike horns for the soundtrack here. So they're all jumping up and going honk, honk.
So she rolled a 17,
Bad trumpet sound.
and you said disadvantage, and thought, oh, okay, so I roll again. She rolled a 20.
Oh,
So she
So
makes it.
she is the only
Dang it.
one of these ascended Tarthians who manages
Descended properly.
who descends and is therefore able to keep moving and runs past the priest, who for some reason does not take a swipe at her. And is now, for all intents and purposes, hidden from the rest of you, because they're heavily obscured by heavy fog.
They're gonna meet up in the fog. Ozzy, hit her with your new biceps.
But that is Cova
Do that.
Fenn's turn. Dagmar.
we're going to creep back in and see what's going on. 10, 15, 20. Wait, sorry, no. I regret that. We'll move it that way. Alrighty, look, we're going to go for Garum again.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I don't know if you can hear that. My dog is barky.
It's not coming through, so don't worry about it, unless you need to do something.
Oh, no, it's fine. I rolled a 12.
12, let me just double check. 12 is just enough,
Yeah.
because he's a squishy mage who hasn't had a chance to cast mage armor.
Stunning.
Gotta get shield, bud.
Bit late for that.
Wait, no, that was the wrong roll. Damage. He takes 8.
Oh, wait a minute.
Have you got any roguey stuff you can add to that?
Thank you, April. He does have shield.
Shit. Sorry, I should stop helping.
So this arrow flies in towards Garum, but he uses his reaction to give himself +5 to bonus, and it's basically, once again, Harry Dresden, arm comes up, magical shield deflects the blow, but that is his reaction used up. So it's not a waste of a turn, Dagmar. You burnt up a reaction.
Good.
And a spell slot, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Anything else, Dagmar?
No, I think I'll stay inside for the party.
Okay. Commoner takes a step forward. Commoner takes a step forward.
They don't want to go
Vetericus.
punch the wizards?
Sorry?
They don't want to go punch the wizards who are on the ground floor now?
Actually, yeah. One of them will keep up. The other is in a position where they can very easily bound over. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Not quite close enough. So they'll just keep moving because they have no ranged weapons. So this commoner probably doesn't know what's happened to that priest, so that is going to be, could be a bit tragic. Vetericus.
Yes. So first order of business, we're going to use my bonus action to maintain what remains of Cova Fenn's mask, burning her face, her hands, everything that she's touched.
And she takes how much damage?
Well, we're just rolling that now. She will take 11 points of fire damage
Cool.
as she claws the last of it off her face. Now, I guess I can just drop concentration at this point when I cast my next spell, but it's not going to be a concentration spell. I'm going to stay where I am, and I'm going to whistle. And I'm going to summon what shades I can. And because I only know one of these Tarthians' names, I'm going to whisper Cova Fenn, the Supreme Ascended, to them. And send them off for a 3rd level Dissonant Whispers at her.
Ooh.
Naughty.
It's a roll from her, yes?
Wisdom saving throw, please.
15?
Is enough. So she doesn't have to run away.
Okay.
But she does take half of 5d6 damage.
Oof, okay.
Wow.
So please take, that's a lot of 1s and 2s, but please take 14 damage on Cova Fenn in addition to the 11 I already hit her with.
So 14 halved?
Sorry, yes, 7.
Okay.
Well. 7 is still fine. 19 damage
Yeah.
in a turn, I'll take.
That's a lot for a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
And Vetericus, yeah. you whistle, and from your point of view, you see these shades dive into this fog, and you don't know what happens in there, but you're fairly certain that that your spell was effective to an extent. Anything else for Terracus?
I used my bonus action to burn her. I used my action to whisper at her. I think what I'm going to do is I'm now going to, now that I know she's in the... Actually, I don't know she's in the fog, do I?
Your shades go into the fog, right?
Yeah,
that's true, actually. I thought the shades, so yeah.
Because of the flavor I added to the description, yeah, you know that she's in the fog.
Wonderful. So now that I know that, I think I'm going to come around the other side to like here-ish. And sort of rally the troops as much as I can.
Cool.
Like an onwards to glory with my pre-action or whatever. But nothing special.
Okay. Calaxis. Is he going to cast and run, or run and cast? His invisibility is gone. Yeah. Okay. He is going to cast Hold Person on Vatericus, who, as far as he's concerned, looks like an old man.
Indeed.
Because he is still in disguise. But,
so clearly he's a mage.
Yeah. So, Hold Person requires a wisdom saving throw, please.
Okay. 20? Placid?
Yeah, that works.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Does a 20 work? Yeah, so that has no effect on you. Okay.
Undreg says no! I don't actually call that out. That would be weird.
5, 10, 15,
Would be
20,
weird.
25, 30, 35, 40. What am I doing? 30. 30 movement points. 30 feet of movement. And the commoner gets a swipe at him as he runs past.
Commoner with a spear now, right?
Nope.
No, that's one of the ones up the stairs.
So the other one's saying, okay.
Nope. 6 does not hit a running tiefling. Morzod, it is your turn.
Right. I mean, Morzod still wants to hoe into someone, but there's all these freaking commoners everywhere.
And the magic weapon jumped down over the
The
side.
magic weapon will absolutely find someone to belt, but I'm just thinking about what Morzod himself is going to do before it does. Because, like, he doesn't really have any particular options. The only dude that he can see really is Garum over there. And the guy's on the steps, but like that's it. So I think what he might do is just sort of that's 20 feet. Gonna run up and back up Vetti.
Mm-hmm.
Because like just being near him, obviously, if something happens, I need to get rid of the. I am so bad at this. All right, so he's up there. Oh, hey, is that priest in the fog? Is that the priest?
No, he's not in the...
Yeah, you cannot clearly see that priest from where you are. Or at least
that's
they
fair.
would have sort of 3/4 cover.
Yeah, because he just appeared on my map, but it looks like I would not have line of sight.
I will point out that you do have. I don't know. I haven't been tracking your spell slots, but you do have Guarding Bolt, which is a ranged attack.
Yeah, I was. Let me just read that one real quick though.
And that gives advantage to whoever hits next.
Yeah.
And Garen's looking gnarly.
Yeah. Look, I think what I might do is the Guiding Bolt on Garum there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
a ranged attack from you.
Yep. And I think it's component 1 action. Yeah, so that'll just be just that one. So I've rolled to hit. Does a 24 hit him?
What do you think?
I think we lighten him up.
Yep. Now,
Right.
please roll the damage on that.
Yep, 4d6.
He sparkles.
But that's an 8.
That's an.
And now he's all shiny.
Oh, he is looking really, really rough now.
Yep. Morzod, by the way, with this casting this bolt, he's just orking out at this point. So if he says anything it's probably not legible, but he is yelling and he's having a good time. And for the bonus actions, my spiritual folding chair is gonna go for which one though? Because there's this dude up here.
Garum out, man.
Yeah, can't you just place it next to someone?
It will basically, it's within range of all three of them.
Garum is on the ropes.
Finish the wizard.
One less
all right.
wizard to deal
Give
with.
him the chair. All right, so I'm gonna roll the chair.
Yeah, from the
to see
top rope,
if it hits
straight
him.
down.
Yeah. Cheers, come on, chair, you can do it. 17.
And you've got advantage.
Oh well, I can roll it again.
Because of the
Hey,
golden
that's 20.
guiding bolt. I mean, the 17 was going to hit anyway.
The second one's an 18 for 24 total.
Yep, that hits.
All right, let's give him the chair. 5 damage.
That's enough. He had 2 hit points left.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Yep.
Ascended
So-
out by a chair.
Yeah, Ptericus, you see Morzod, step up beside you, and what does it look like when Morzod casts? First of all, casts guiding bolt. What is that? What do others see?
You know what it sounds like when you're like at a live sport thing and somebody gets the points and the entire stadium just kind of erupts. That kind of human just noise weapon. Like that, but also kind of visually as well. So like if you were in that crowd and you just felt the whoosh of all the energy of the most amazing sporting thing you've ever seen getting the points.
I'm seeing fireworks and confetti.
Yeah, just
There's the ref going.
yeah, actually. That would actually be pretty cool, but we're less sports and more drinking.
That's the spiritual guardian. You can do both later.
Yo, nice. All right. So, but yeah, basically, it's physically lots of yelling going
Cool.
on.
Lots of yelling,
roar.
fireworks and confetti. Strike him, and it gets covered in this glowing light and these little specks of glitter, essentially. And then a folding chair from above comes down and just pile drives him into the ground.
Blood.
And he is down. He is dead.
Yep. And Morzod absolutely Krogan Gold challenge.
Anything else from Morzod? I think that's probably everything, yeah.
That's all the things.
Yeah, that's probably enough, come to think of it.
Yeah.
Okay, this commoner next to Dagmar has seen 2 of them run into the fog and is just going to run blindly. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Doesn't really know what they're running towards. I'm going to get them to do a perception roll. No. So they are just going to move in random directions, searching for someone to hit. And no, it doesn't actually fall down the hole. That would be funny. But they are now just standing, wandering around through the fog, looking for someone to hit.
Thought the guy in the museum downstairs, is he like, what are they doing up there? Bloody hell.
Now, the priest who was charmed, was dominated by Garum, is no longer dominated because Garum's dead.
Excellent.
We've got the safe word. The safe word is chair.
The priest runs into the fog, manages to find Cova Fen because they were so close. And
oh, dip. So brave.
This guy seriously deserves like his name in the credits.
Either brave or perhaps just really, really angry right now.
6 in one hand, my friend.
Yeah,
Is his spiritual weapon still up from the last fight, or did he drop that?
No, it's not, but he is going to cast Spiritual Guardians, which I just need to very quickly remind myself how that works.
Please tell me they're Power Rangers. Please tell me they're Power Rangers.
We decided they were like crystal blue guardians or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to imagine they're Power Rangers. That's my mental image and nobody can stop me.
Come on, D&D Beyond. You're normally... Oh, spirit guardians. It's not spiritual. It's spirit. It's a spiritual weapon, but a spirit guardian.
Is it a spirit that guards, or does it guard spirits?
Fine, I'll read the description in Foundry. You have failed me, D&D Beyond. I am disappointed.
Failed me for the last time. Again!
Well, not really, because I'm going to keep using D&D Beyond, because it is actually really good. It's just sometimes it can be hard to quickly find what you need. Distance of 15 feet. If you're good or neutral, yeah, whatever. And when you cast a spell, you can designate any number of creatures to be unaffected. Yeah. An affected creature's speed is halved in the area when the creature enters the area for the first time on a turn or starts their turn and makes a wisdom saving throw and takes 3d8 radiant if they fail and half that if they succeed. It's a really good priest spell. Cool. Okay. So yeah, through the fog, these crystal humanoid things like golems, atronachs, whatever you want to call them, made of glowing blue crystal appear and start pounding the ground and swinging their arms and hitting anything that moves that is not a friend to this priest. Orsi, it is your turn.
Okay. Time to be a big nerd. He'd like to use his turn to try and figure out this circle. Like, can it be broken? Can you mess up a rune? Like, how is the magic imbued? Like, anything he can glean.
Okay, Arcana, please.
Come on. Oh, that's really good. 25.
25. You think that destroying one of the runes
Break the circle.
and brute force would be sufficient. Destroying one of the runes would render it useless as a teleportation circle.
Okay, so that was my action to do that.
Yeah.
So,
and with such a high roll, I will say you realize that would not stop someone teleporting out if they've got the teleport spell, but it would probably make it harder for reinforcements to come if that's a problem.
Okay, so that was his action. Yeah, next turn he's going to start trying to do that, I think. So I don't think I can do much with a bonus action, so.
Okay. You could, this is your DM being benevolent, you could shout something.
I could, but then they're gonna know they're gonna know where I am, and I'm scared.
Fair point. Okay.
I'm scared.
Benevolent and sneaky.
Yeah.
All right.
He is gonna just move. Just gonna move again.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
This guardian has seen his bosses run into the fog and one die. And he's not going to try to plow through all of these guards and commoners. They're going to vault over the steps. They're still high enough that they need to succeed on an acrobatics check, and they do. The guards are apparently more nimble than their bosses.
I mean, they've got martial training, so...
the guardians, but this town guard does get an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, fuck him up. Get him.
That hits. That's a 19.
Yes, spear in the guts. Let's go.
Nice.
The
Yeah, give him a good poke.
Takes a magnificent 7 points of damage.
Good.
I'll be right back. I'm just going to go to the bathroom.
Okay. And so 5 to get down, 15, 25, 30. Doesn't actually leave that commoners. Oh, can't move through their space. So it's actually just going to stop there. And yeah, it's going to try and can't move through the commoner, so it's going to try to hit them.
Go over him.
With a natural 20.
Woof.
So I think that hits.
Just slightly.
Commoner explosion.
And that
It's kind of what
is
they do.
going to be 12 points. Commoners only have 4 hit points.
Oh.
So that is a one of the civilians wandering outside, who happened to be outside the panopticon at the time, falls with the axe blade of the halberd just cutting him open from collar down to the heart. And they collapse with blood bursting out, and this guardian still has some movement left, so they're going to step over the corpse and continue to follow their masters. This guard is going to follow that guardian, 5, 10, 15, 20. They're just low enough that they don't need to succeed on an acrobatic save. I'm going to delete that commoner to make it clearer what's going on. That guard. Spear attack. 14 does not hit a guardian because they are well protected when it comes to armor. The other guardian is going to vault down there at the highest point of those steps. That is going to be an acrobatics check. A natural 1.
He did.
No, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Oh.
Sorry, it's a 7.
Oh.
Even these digital dice can be confusing at times. I'm just glad I've got the log that appears at the bottom right of the screen. So it's still an 8, which is not good. They don't fall prone, but they do still take a small amount of damage as they land awkwardly. 3 points of bludgeoning damage. And he's going to charge into the fog, almost bump into the priest, and is going to take a swing with disadvantage because everything in there is heavily obscured. With a natural 1, and is going to miss, and actually with a natural 1 I'm going to say that he, because he's right on the edge of the steps that are leading up towards that central area. He actually trips over as he goes to swing the halberd and ends up prone at the end of his round.
Now, does he also take damage for walking into the spiritual guard or spirit guardian aura?
That is true. Thank you for that reminder. I'm going to set a
And
status.
Is the other guy close enough?
Yeah, because it's 15 feet. So yeah, they're both going to attempt wisdom saving throws. That's a 10. That's an 11. No, neither of those are going to be enough. So, the Spirit Guardians are going to take 3d8 radiant damage. Oh, 18 points. That was a hell of a roll.
Wow.
Yeah, so these two guardians run off after their bosses, disappear into the fog, and then anybody who's outside, all they would see would be these towering radiant figures of blue light just go bring their massive fists down, and there's maybe a spurt of blood or two as they are both dead. Both those guardians are out of the fight. This commoner is going to dive over the railing low enough that they don't need to roll 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, and is going to run in. Oh, question. Are they going to take damage from the spirit guardians because the priest had to choose? I'll just reread the description. You can designate any number of creatures you can see. I shall roll to see whether the priest could see the commoners at this point. Yep, they were aware of the commoners. So the commoner does not take damage from the spirit guardians.
Cool.
And is now toe-to-toe with Cova Fen, but does not have an action to spend. Commoner. So the other commoners are basically going to do the same thing. They're running into the fog because they are still effectively raging. This one doesn't know where to run, but can probably see the spirit guardian. So that is going to guide them in the right direction. They're going to be somewhere around here. And yep, they are now toe-to-toe with Cova Fen, who's looking kind of surrounded at the moment.
Good.
But it is now Cova Fen's turn. So yeah. Oh no. Oh, okay. It's what she would do. So she is going to 5-10. That is 4 attacks of opportunity.
Wow.
It's wet.
I'm gonna crits. Let's go.
Yeah, 2020, baby.
10 does not hit. And
She dies from it. Did you just say 19?
A 19 hits.
If she dies from atomic wedgie from commoner, this is going to be amazing.
That's 3 points as a fist catches her as she runs.
Hell yeah.
Natural 1. That commoner does not hit at all. And probably,
Trips
I'm going to
and
say
lands on
that
her
one
face.
trips over also. And the priest.
Come on, MVP. You got this.
Alley crits. Let's go.
Go divine. The power of Desmina.
Ooh.
Yeah, boy.
Now I need to look up whether that hits or not, because it's just high enough that it could. No, that does not hit, I'm afraid.
Do the spirit guardians get it?
5-10. Oh yeah, spirit guardians. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at remembering that sort of thing.
How many hit points can they dish out before they disappear?
They're just around for like a time, 10 minutes, right?
Yeah,
Might be a
I'm pretty sure
concentration 10
it's
minutes.
just a concentration spell.
Oh, I thought they had like a set number of hit points they could deal out and then they poofed.
Nope.
I don't
They
play
just
clerics. I have no
murder
idea.
everything. It's great.
Yeah. Okay, so a wisdom save from Cova Fen. With a nat 1, that is a big fail.
Wow.
So
This,
He's having
this
a
guy
bad
deserves
day.
everything.
3d8 radiant,
Oh,
12 points of
Come on,
damage.
Priesty. Is that enough?
More thud, thud as these crystal things flail and pummel Cova Fen as she runs through. But 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Also half move because of the guardians.
Son of a...
oh yeah.
So, 10, 20, 30. That's as far as she can get.
My God.
I cannot
Going to kill this
decide
wizard.
whether she's going to do what she was going to do. So I'm going to roll. She is going to do it. Just need to check the spell description. Willing creatures that you can see. And Calaxis is heavily
Can't see me now.
obscured. So
Yeah. My time is now.
I'm going to say none of you really see what happens next. Cova Fen has run into the fog. And that is it. Dagmar, it is your turn.
Dagmar is going to also enter the fog, because that sounds like it's where the action is.
Yep, join the fog party.
So 10, 15, 20. Cool. I get to just the edge of the fog. And can I check to see what I can see? Is that
Can't
possible?
see shit, Captain.
At this point, everything in front of you is classified as heavily obscured, so you can basically see nothing that isn't directly next to you.
Well, I guess I'm just hanging out.
Okay, you can hold your action if you want to. For
Yeah,
example, you
I'll-
can say, I'll take a shot when I can see a target.
Yeah, I'll ready a shot for any time someone like makes a sound or becomes visible to me.
Cool. Smithers, don't be kind one, that's rude.
Sorry, he's desperate to play fetch, so we're doing a low-key game of fetch over here.
Okay. Commoner is just going to charge into the fog. Vatericus, it is your turn.
Yes. I guess I'm probably just going to move around a little bit. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I'm going to get to there. And I'm going to whistle again.
Mm-hmm.
And summon some more little, or summon some more shades and whisper Kova Fen, Supreme Ascendant of Tarth, and turn them loose.
What is the range on Dissonant Whispers, please?
60 feet.
Okay. You cast the
Up
spell.
to there.
You do not see you see the shades continue to just drift around as if
Interesting.
they have no target.
Okay. How interesting. In that case, then, I will... what am I going to do? I am going to use my bonus action, I guess, largely to rally the troops and to point out that we've already killed one of them and the rest are on the run, hiding in this magic fog that they have doubtless summoned to cover their cowardly retreat. And in doing that, I'm going to give Bardic Inspiration to Morzod.
Cool.
All right. There's not much I can do, though. Goodness me. There's nobody live out here.
So Calaxis needs to make a wisdom save. Succeeds, so only takes half of 3d8 damage. So it's only 5 points of damage to Calaxis. And they are going to... Yep, their movement speed is halved, so 10, 20, 30. And they're going to... Yeah, also you hear, again, a scrambled voice as if a Tarthian is trying to speak to another Tarthian in their ciphered language.
Can I loose a shot in the direction of that sound?
You can make a shot with
nice.
disadvantage, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
He really wants to play fetch.
Oh, he's desperate. Oof. No, 9.
9 does not hit, I'm afraid. A natural 1 would have been funny, considering how many allies there are in roughly...
I probably would have shot Orsi.
Yeah, you wish on me.
But no. Yes, your acid arrow just flies into the fog and strikes nothing that you can see. Okay. Morzod, it is your turn.
So, I've been reading the words for Guiding Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Creature of my choice within range. Does not say I have to be able to see him.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, I'll just double check that, but... Yeah.
So, I'm gonna guide that bolt.
Nice.
So, Calaxis... Morzod is gonna just kind of skid up next to Vidi here at the edge of the fog, and he's going to just look into the fog, point. There he is. And I'm gonna go for the guiding bolt. and
Cool.
hopefully actually hit him.
Yep, that is a ranged spell attack with disadvantage because your target is still heavily obscured.
Oh, sorry. How do you? But I don't
Yeah.
have to see him.
But it is a ranged attack, so because there is a dice roll.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So how do I disadvantage? Because I got a 17.
Just right
just
click
normal,
on the button that you'd click to roll.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yep. There it is. All right. Let's see what we got. 16.
Ah, yeah. 16 is going to hit a squishy wizard.
Yeah, boy. All
Fun
right.
fact
So.
for you, Morzod.
Yep.
Because I'm magically inspiring as well as just generally inspiring,
Yo, that would have
You
you
taken
can
off the
add
disadvantage.
my D8 to the damage instead of the attack roll.
Okay, we're absolutely going to be doing that. So once again, the world just roars, and because we've got fog, you can actually kind of see it this time. That just like reality shakes with the sheer yell of this thing that's happening that Morzod's doing to point this guy out because he's right over there and he knows it. So that one is 15 points
Ooh.
of damage.
More than half my
plus,
HP.
Plus, what was your thing, Viddy?
Hang on, give me a sec. 1d8.
Yep. So, I roll that one, or do you?
You roll that one
I roll that one. Okay.
because I have
let's
inspired
see.
you.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense. We got an extra 2. So 15, 16, 17 damage.
Okay. Orsi, you hear, very close to you in the fog, you hear, Kova Fen, no longer speaking in ciphered language. Kova, where did you go? Don't leave me.
She legged it.
She done poofed.
Anything else in your turn, Morzod?
It doesn't say that I have to be able to see who the chair goes for either. So, if he's not dead, that is absolutely where the chair is going. Now, I actually have to move so that I can see
he is
my
kind
chair,
of
'cause
sparkling in
apparently
the
it's-
mist at this point, so.
Yeah, I can, he's
Shouting.
kind of marked. So let
was-
me see. I've just
and-
got to see if I've got enough range with it.
And because it was guarding bolt, you no longer have disadvantage to hit because due to the heavily obscured, it'll just be a regular hit. Because-
The chair can't make it over to him, but it's going to fly that way at the very least.
Cool.
I'm
Because
just move myself, and because the chair actually doesn't count as mine or something, so anyway, it gets up to there.
Yep.
It disappeared when I went out of line of sight on it, so I was like,
So, Commoner. This Commoner heard that shouting knows where his last mage is,
Do
runs
you get
in.
advantage on his attack?
Not
Or-
advantage, because the target is still heavily obscured, but the disadvantage is cancelled out by the guiding bolt.
my sparkles.
Oh, rolls a 19 to hit.
Hell yeah.
Come on!
Have a commoner take down a Tarthian
Kill this
Ascendant. Let's
guy.
do it.
Come on, splat him!
3 points of damage. Still standing, but looking really rough. The priest, 5, 10, 15, 20. And the priest is now just going to hit him.
Give him that mace, son.
That's
Power
a
of
hit.
Desmina compels you.
He deserves it. He deserves a
He
kill.
absolutely deserves it.
MVP, man. MVP.
This guy gets a spin-off episode.
I'm going to have to name this priest, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
He's the
He's
head
the High
priest.
Priest of Providence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolls a 7 on the damage dice, which is enough.
Yeah.
Um,
A splat.
Justice is served.
Yeah, so this commoner charges in, the priest charges in, and because we're effectively out of initiative now, all of these people run in, and the
Dogpile him.
priest gets that final blow that strikes down Calaxis, but then everyone else moves in and starts just punching
Jumping on
and
him.
ripping and tearing and
Rip and tear, rip and tear, rip
absolutely
and tear your
pummeling
guts.
this poor.
Poor.
Yeah,
No way.
well, okay, yeah. It's still very much a bad guy.
This evil douchebag.
into mincemeat in the Tarthian circle, in the teleportation circle. So we're almost out of initiative, except I will say, Orsi, it is back to your turn. What are you going to do about this teleportation circle?
I think as a free action, now that he heard Klax's call out for Kova, who didn't answer, he's going to yell out as a free action, destroy the runes! And
Cool.
He's going to have a go at trying to crack one. Can he use his dagger to, like, stab into one or something?
They are
Are they
carved
etched?
into stone, so it's going to take more than scratching at it with a dagger to do any real damage to
The
it.
jeweler's
Alright.
kit.
Got my
I
Dremel.
will. He will stand up and
Got a cantrip that's a little splody?
no, I could
Then
try
take
and
your
witch
shoe
bolt.
off. Take your
Witch
shoe off
bolt.
and hit it with your heel.
He's got like thigh-high boots on, man. That's not happening.
So
All right, he's gonna stand back. Oh, a little bit.
we're
And just cast witch bolt like directly at one of the runes.
okay, cool. How much damage is that going to do?
Do I have to roll to hit the ground?
Well, what is the description of Witch Bolt? Does it say you target a creature?
Yeah, creature within your range. You're right. you're
Okay,
right.
so
Okay.
technically that means you can't target an object. I might
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I might let you do it with disadvantage to hit.
You fire
Ah.
a witch bolt at the darkness.
I'm just looking through. I've got all utility spells today.
I mean,
I'll have a go. I'll have a go at disadvantage. Why
Okay,
not?
with the disadvantage.
If you're okay with that.
Yep.
Sure.
Well, that's going to hit.
18.
Yep,
with
an 18
disadvantage.
hits. How much damage does it do?
So that's a second level. So. Oh wow, 18 damage. Rolled really
18,
high.
cool. That isn't enough for... There are like a dozen or so runes around this thing.
Yeah,
It's
just one.
It sort of looks like a Stargate essentially lying down, and Orsi manages to... this lightning shoots out from Orsi's hands, and there's a burst of stone as this rune is scattered into pieces.
And he's going to drop the fog cloud too when that
Yep.
happens.
And Orsi, from your earlier Arcana check, you're certain that this means that this teleportation circle will no longer offer the advantages that a teleportation circle would. It's like you've basically just taken a number out of somebody's telephone number and you're trying to dial them. So it doesn't mean, people still have the teleportation spell. They can still, teleport to wherever they want to go, but the circle would have guaranteed a safe entry point, and that is no longer available.
Does that mean they get a wrong number? When
They
turn
could.
You can with teleport, yeah.
Yep, there is a table to roll on what happens when they miss their
You could-
target.
You can just die and end up in a rock.
Yep.
Like how we nearly got
Yeah.
Almost did,
completely
yeah.
obliterated.
Yeah.
Yep, when Rala Swift teleported you to Providence, it could have ended with everybody dying. So, I will now let
Glad
all
you
of
didn't
you
tell me
give
that
me
when I rolled.
another wisdom saving throw, please, to see whether you are still affected by whatever has been driving you to kill Tarthians.
Wisdom.
15.
Yeah, 24.
25.
Okay, everybody except Dagmar succeeds.
Morzod has done the rage.
And yeah, you all realize that this righteous fury that you've been feeling for the past probably about 20-30 seconds was not entirely yours. You might still be genuinely angry, and you might still have a genuine hatred of Tarthians, but it was being fueled by something else for a moment there. Dagmar, you are still looking for Tarthians to kill.
Where'd she go?
Can I roll to pick her up by the back of her shirt? It's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I imagine at this point Dagmar would probably be running outside to try and shoot one of
Oh,
the
yeah,
bombers
jump
that's
on a
flying
ship.
over.
Yeah, someone grab
Any
her.
direction is fine.
Dagmar is running outside. Morzod, give me this is going to be an attempted grapple, so I'll get athletics from Morzod, and Dagmar, you can give me acrobatics or athletics to avoid.
Okay. Let's see what we got. That's a 17.
That's pretty good.
13.
No, Morzod grabs the dwarf running past.
Dagmar's legs are continuing to
legs still running, absolutely.
Need to give her a cuddle.
Let me kick.
No, she'll stab me.
I think Orsie's gonna call out to Vatericus. Vatericus,
Yes.
come over here.
What have we got?
I managed to break the circle, so I don't think they're going to be getting any reinforcements anytime soon.
Wonderful. Quick question: Are the teleportation runes, are they inlaid with my favorite element in the world, metal?
No, it is all carved stone.
Okay, so I can't melt them out.
That would have been hot, though. I mean, oh god, I didn't mean
I
that.
don't know.
Yes, it would.
I don't know
what I
sorry.
mean.
I was just clocking that as I came in. So okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, but you're sure, Orsi, that they can't get back in this way?
I mean, if they know teleportation spells, I'm sure they can still get around as individuals, but there's no way they're getting masses through. But I don't know where Kova went. I didn't see her. There was a lot of fog. But I heard this guy yelling out her name, but she never answered.
Yes, that's going to be a problem, I suspect.
I assume
quick
her
question.
corpse is not lying around anywhere.
No, you do not see Kova Fenn's corpse. She did leave her mask behind.
What's left of it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Back to the museum.
I want to
Yeah,
grab
that's right.
this guy's
It'll
mask
go in the
too.
museum. Is Calaxis's shade sort of rising from what's left of him? Just out of interest?
No, that's not how it works. Because Vatericus, I mean, you've seen people die around you before. It takes some time for the soul to disconnect from the body entirely, even though they are technically dead. They're still tethered for a while.
I'm going to whistle at him anyway,
Okay.
just to see what happens.
Give me a Make this a straight up charisma roll, please.
Ooh, come on.
Ooh, that is a 2 for a total of 5.
No.
So nothing.
I'm sorry, nothing happens. Would have
Orsie's
been
going to take the mask off the beaten, bloodied pulp body.
I'm definitely going to run over and take Kova's mask.
By now you can see that Calaxis's mask, it has been partly cracked, and you see it. His mask is just made of a combination of ivory and wood.
Yeah, he's going to take that, and then he's going to go over to the tiefling as well if he's around. Gareth.
Calaxis was the tiefling. Garum was a human. His silver mask is not entirely. It's not solid silver. It is covered in silver.
Okay.
And is
Pretty bent by now, I imagine.
Do they have anything? Does he have anything else on him, like notes, orders, a spell book? Can I get the spell
good
books?
question.
Can I get the spell books?
Garum.
I want the spell books.
Garum is a wizard, so yeah, he'll have a spell book, as will most of them. What I'll say is at this point, let's take a short break, and we'll come back to see what happens next, since the city is still under siege at this point. So we will be back very soon to see what happens to the city of Providence. Thanks for watching. And we are back. We've taken our short break. Our heroes are on the ground floor of the Panopticon, where they've just defeated the, most of the Tarthian delegation, who it turned out were dirty double crosses all along, and were planning to destroy the crystal, which they succeeded in doing, which housed the power of Desmina. They also managed to destroy the statue that was blocking the teleportation circle. They defeated most of the wizards as they ran to the circle to teleport out, except for Kova Fen, who it seems was the one with the teleportation spell that would have carried them all to safety, and she ended up only saving herself. Orsi has managed to sabotage the teleportation circle, so there is no longer such a great threat of Tarthian reinforcements coming through. But the Battle of Providence continues, as there are still bombs exploding outside. The sound of these small, shall we say, dagger-class airships, because it sounds cool, flying through the air with a and half of the city is still roaring, screaming in absolute rage, as a lot of people have not succeeded on their wisdom saving throws and are still being driven by this overwhelming urge to kill any Tarthian that they see, even if they're in the middle of the ocean. So I am going to, for now, just quickly switch into narrative mode because we have a limited amount of time to finish this episode, and I'd like to wrap up this part of the story before we finish. So our heroes realize they're no longer in danger in the Panopticon, and Dagmar is still desperately trying to get outside. So they walk outside, except for Dagmar, who is carried outside.
Ooh, just as an interjection, did I grab both of the spell books?
Yes, we'll say that Orsi has managed to loot some spell books. In terms of what else they are carrying, we can come back to that another time. There is nothing on them that is clearly, a note labeled, "Here is the plan for Providence." So I'm going to move everybody back to the map of Providence. So from where you all are standing in the courtyard in front of the Panopticon, you can see these ships, these airships still zooming back and forth overhead. To your left, as you step out in the Fool's Bay, you can still see these two submarine-like vessels moving closer and closer to shore. I'm afraid I haven't actually put the proper scale on this map, so they are some distance away, is all I can say at this point.
This submarine is very large.
Please give me a perception check as you survey the area. Dagmar with disadvantage because you are still raging.
You still angry.
6.
I usually have advantage on my perception, so does that just bring it down to
just a normal roll then? Yep.
20.
Perception.
24.
No, not so bad. I got an 11. I'm still concentrating on the dwarf.
Okay.
The dwarf is angry enough to see well.
Vitericus?
Fury gives you
6.
sight.
I am staring at Kova Fen's mask, lost in my thoughts a little bit.
It is a very pretty mask.
It was.
It was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite as pretty now. So, Orsi and Dagmar, as you're looking around, you can see that there are some of the airships are still flying back and forth, but some of them now seem to have focused in on specific areas, like they are now hovering over targets rather than flying around. One you see is hovering above the Coruscant Academy. Another is down at the docks. Dagmar, from where you are, you can see, you just see down at the docks that the Tarthian ship that the delegation came upon, the frigate, has actually turned its side towards the beach and its cannons are boom, 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 firing at the city. And even as you see this, you see a bolt of lightning come out of nowhere, strike the ship, and its sails set ablaze. And
Friend.
yeah, and Dagmar, because you rolled higher, but I'll give it to Orsi anyway, because this is something Orsi would notice. You see Izard running up the pathway towards the Panopticon, towards you.
You notice him. He's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Izard
Sweaty.
is thoroughly noticeable.
Also, just looking out into the bay specifically, is there
Yep.
any indication of Gemdanen's Titan? Is he anywhere? Is he hucking on submarines?
Not that you can see, not with a 20.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna say you can tell Izad's coming as well by the slap bass.
So what do you do?
All right.
I'm just thinking
Uh,
of Phil.
Orsi's gonna, since Dagmar's busy, Orsi's gonna call out to Izard. Izard!
I'll let Dagmar make another wisdom saving roll, please. This time with advantage, because
Pat her hair.
Yeah.
Pat her hair.
Yep, calming down.
11.
He's still angry.
still enough.
Angry, bro.
You still want,
I had -1 on wisdom. It's never good.
Izard sees you, Orsi, and yeah, still running up. He looks tired. He looks. You can see that some of his robes are torn, and that there's a bit of scorching, as if something might have exploded, a fireball or a bomb or something. And there's actually a little blood coming down the side of his face, like he's been injured through all this. And,
But only handsomely so.
He just got hotter.
Yeah.
he as he runs, he yells, "Where are they?"
6 feet under.
Dead, mostly. Fen got away. Covert Fen got away.
And he just fuck and
See you
turns
next time,
towards
Gadget.
the bay and the submarines. You can now see that some of the civilians who survived and the guards, they are actually now running towards the bay, towards the cliff that goes down into the ocean. And you get the impression that they are ready to throw themselves into the sea and swim out to those submarines, if that's what it takes. But suddenly, something else happens. There is a ringing sound that fills the air all around you. Dagmar, your rage suddenly dissipates, and you are left with one exhaustion point, as it feels like something has been ripped out of you. All of the civilians and the guards who are running towards the city, they also they suddenly are down on their knees, and you can all now see just these very faint slivers of blue light floating up into the sky. The bombers are still going back and forth. The submarines are closing in, but these motes of blue light form together and start swirling in the sky above you, almost like a tornado, until they form into this humanoid shape, which starts. It's as though this giant of blue light has just appeared in the middle of the city, probably with its feet somewhere around Arena Square or somewhere like that. And it starts striding through the cities. You hear this as it crunches houses under its feet. And even as this is happening, the ground below you starts to tremor, like there is an earthquake happening, and you can hear this horrible sound as everything starts shaking around you. This enormous thing, whatever it is, now comes into plain sight as it strides past the Panopticon. And you can see that not only is it destroying anything that it steps on, anything that comes near it, you know, when you've got like a strong gravitic source, like, you know, the artist's impressions of black holes, that sort of thing, and the way light bends around them. It's as though the physical matter that comes near this thing is warped and bent away, and buildings are being just pushed apart as this thing strides through. One of the bombers that you're seeing flies towards it, and a tendril of light just shoots out from this creature and slices it in half, and it falls. These two pieces fall. It surges out into the bay, stepping into the water. The water starts rising. There are spouts, there are tornadoes, and you are starting to hear, as you look around, you are starting to see entire boulders, cliffs are starting to rise into the air. Others are being crushed down. This entire peninsula is starting to... It's as though somebody has just taken like an egg beater and is starting to mince up the city of Providence as this thing strides through it. And these two ships that are down in the bay, these two submersibles, one of them, you see that there are now wizards on its surface. They seem to have come out from underneath. There are wizards, there are Tarthian guardians, and they are now in panic shooting their muskets. They've got swivel cannons. They've got there are fireballs being cast, and they seem to have zero effect on this thing whatsoever. A long arm lashes out and comes down, and one of the submersibles just is sliced in half in a single strike and starts to sink into the ocean. Tarthians throw themselves into the water. The other submersible starts to go underwater. The people who are on board it are left floundering as they're not given time to retreat back into the safety of the vessel. But even as the vessel was underwater, another tendril shoots out from this being and pierces the water. And you don't see exactly what happens, but you get a feeling that other submersible is not going to survive the blow it just suffered either. I now need everybody to give me a constitution saving throw, please.
I was going to say, roll for holy shit.
11.
8.
9.
Con save.
We're having a moment.
Total of 10.
Rounds
Yeah.
out the set. 8, 9, 10,
Yep.
11.
Hey, good for us.
Get us straight.
This plateau that you're on, that includes the Panopticon and the Skydock, suddenly the entire plateau shifts a few meters to the side. That is enough for all of you to be knocked prone.
Yeah,
and
we all fall over.
And to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
I was going to say, the ground isn't far, but okay.
I just got dropped.
But this is not just a subtle, this is the entire ground just boom. It's as though somebody just threw the planet at you.
That's fair.
The Panopticon, I'm going to roll to see whether this happens or not.
Oh no.
Ooh. The Panopticon failed its constitution save, and you now see this massive marble building, an entire side of it shears off from this motion underneath, and this marble it is not falling towards the courtyard. You're pleased to see, but it's like this tower. Part of it's just been sliced and it falls away, and you are now hearing the rage, the screams of rage and fury have ceased entirely, and they have been replaced by howls of terror, of fear, of pain, as the citizens of Providence are facing a new, unexpected threat. And as you're looking around, trying to about to stand up, trying to work out, what's going on, what can you do, where can you flee for safety, how can you stop this, can it be stopped? everything starts to slow down. It's almost like everything is in slow motion. And this is something that all four of you are experiencing. And then you realize it really is in slow motion. There are pieces of rubble that are slowing down and are now suspended in the air. All of the other people that you saw around here are also coming to a complete stop. They are frozen as if they are still running towards the ocean, away from the panopticon, screaming in panic and terror. Everything is now frozen, and each of you blinks, and you're now somewhere else. So, you're inside a vast space, bathed in a soft blue light. The floor beneath you is like glass. The walls around you are faceted like a crystal.
Bugger.
In front of you, a dark-skinned human child of about 10 years or so sits on the crystalline floor. Her knees are drawn up to her chin, her eyes are downcast. Behind her, through the multifaceted crystal wall, you see an enormous entity of swirling light and shadow, as tall as a mountain. 2 points of blue light resemble eyes, and a glowing maw looks like a mouth. It is screaming with rage and fury. It is clawing at the crystal wall in front of it with limbs of light and shadow that extend and disperse as quickly as you can blink. The four of you pick yourselves up from where you are lying on the floor, and you see that there's one other person here along with you. It's a tiefling child called Connie that you know. And the four of you are in a semicircle around this dark-skinned girl that you know to be Desmina, goddess of equality, of society, and of freedom. And as you look at her, she, Desmina, her eyes still cast down towards the floor, says, Is it naive to expect people to help each other? To believe that if things could be better, then they should be better? Is this why I'm a child? Because I believe in fairy tales? What do you do?
Looking at Viddy.
Dagmar is super tired and confused and wigged out. She's gonna sort of stagger over and give the kid a cuddle.
And yeah, this small child doesn't stop you. This goddess lets Dagmar hug her, and you can hear her sniffling as she is crying.
Yeah. Not gonna say anything because this is a bit beyond.
Yeah, there's
The
not
scope.
really any words for this.
After a moment of comfort, Desmina sort of gently tries to push you away, Dagmar, but she very quietly in your ear says, "Thank you." She stands up. She stands up and looks at all of you and says, "So, this was never meant to happen. Those idiots thought they could destroy the power of Desmina. All they managed to do was destroy the crystal that contained it. And now, it's up to me to choose what to do with it now, or the city will... Well, you can see what is happening when a god
We
and
tried to stop it. Sorry.
I know, and I think things would have been much worse if you hadn't been here. Thank you. You saved more lives than you know, I think. I know what I need to do, and there's going to be a price to pay. I probably not wake for some time after this. So, I have some things to say to each of you. Orsi Lichtenbrand, I see you trying. I see you trying so hard to be what you think others want you to be. But it will never be enough. Their approval, their praise, it's like a drug. The more you get, the more you'll need. It has already made you a powerful wizard, capable of tremendous things, and I've no doubt that you will become even greater over time, and that the name of Orsi Lichtenbrand will be recorded in history books. Orsi, I think you will change the world, but please remember, you don't have to be alone while you do it. Dagmar, sometimes the bravest thing someone can do is run away from the path set before them, the path laid out for them. And Providence is a haven for the lost, a city of new beginnings. I believe you are exactly where you need to be right now. But you can't run forever. You might be safe here, on the far side of the world, from whatever pursues you for the rest of your life. But as long as you still fear it, it will continue to define who you are and what you will become. Morzod God governs. You are a rarity. You are as strong as you are gentle, as kind as you are blessed. You must have learned by now that we gods are not infallible. Now, I like Bruenlach, but he is a coward, and you are not. I would never come between a mortal and their deity, but once I awaken, if you were to ever walk away from Bruenlach, know that I will be here, and it would be my privilege and my honor to have you as my champion. Vitericus, the soothsayer, Emmanuel Eresti, Alkonost Right. I have been brusque with you, and I apologize. You have been blessed or cursed with power and responsibility that you never asked for. I've heard you singing and whistling, and I see you trying to understand what it means to be the nightingale, but the nightingale would guide lost souls to the celestial planes. And how can you show others the way when you are lost yourself? I wish I could advise you, but I truly don't know what you should do, or even what you can do. There is no celestial plane to guide these souls to. But there might be one small way in which I can help. And the child that is Desmina steps before you and raises a hand, but pauses for a moment as if asking for consent to touch you.
I'll kneel.
You kneel, and she places her hand on your forehead. And you feel something, not yourself, stir inside you. Just for an instant. And Desmina steps back and says, when she awakens, she will be weak, scared, and confused. Please help her. And she looks at the four of you and says, this may be the last time I see any of you. I don't know how long I will sleep for this time. Could be another 722 years for all I know. Is there anything you would say to me?
Done your
No ma-
best. You
No
gave him
matter when you
everything.
wake up, I'll probably still be here to see you.
She smiles. She looks over at Connie. And Connie signs something. And somehow you all know what she's signing. It's as though there's a telepathic link. You don't hear a voice or anything. You just immediately know that Connie simply signs, please don't go. And Desmina turns to Connie and says, and she signs while she's doing this as a kindness to the one she's speaking to. Contemplation. I am so sorry. I didn't want this for you. I wanted you to replace me one day as governess of common ground. You would care for the children, serve the community, eventually take a seat on the Council of Providence. That is what I've been training you for. That is what I've been training you for, not for this. And she looks down, and the entity of light in the wall starts slamming its body against the crystal wall, and there is just a slight crack as this thing is starting to break through. Desmina doesn't look back. She continues speaking to Connie, but she's becoming a bit more anxious, a bit more urgent. Connie, you've always been the sweetest, kindest, gentlest child. Despite everything that's been said and done to you, you've always been generous, optimistic, and full of hope. You've always been so much stronger than me. And I can only imagine how exhausting that must be for you. And now I'm going to heap another tremendous weight upon your shoulders. But just because I didn't want this for you, please don't think that you can't do it. There is not a single person in all of this city, in all of this world, who deserves the power of Desmina more than you. I have every confidence that you will use it wisely and well. You would be a much better god than any of us. And Desmina lowers her head. The entity behind the crystal wall shatters the glass. It surges through, it runs towards all of you. And Desmina raises a hand, and the power of Desmina freezes in midair and then collapses into a mote of blinding light as bright as the sun. And Connie, who is now still and silent and seems to know what's about to happen, waits as Desmina gently pulses this beam, this mote of light towards her, and it shoots into Connie through her eyes, her ears, her mouth, everything. It just overwhelms her. She rises up into the air and then collapses to the ground. And the crystal world that you're in, this mind palace, starts to crumble. Bits start to fall from the ceiling. The floor cracks beneath your feet, and Desmina says, I'm so sorry. And you all blink, and you are back outside the Panopticon. The giant creature that was striding into the ocean has vanished. The ground tremors have ceased. The last of the rubble settles. And whatever was happening is over. What do you do?
Is Connie there with us?
She's not.
Well,
Holy shit!
the first thing
Hey,
that Borzoi
guys.
does is glance around. Where the fuck did Connie go?
I think Orsie's just gonna fall to his knees and start crying.
I will.
Dagmar is not gonna hug him, but she's gonna stand nearby, kind of sit next to him.
Sit in solidarity as well, and just sort of stare off into Fool's Bay.
Orsie will hug Dagmar back.
This is a moment.
Oh, that's
and
a moment.
Vatericus too, and waits for Morzor to come down.
Yeah, Morzor takes the cues and takes a knee. Group hug.
And I think on that image, we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you for watching AntipoDnD. We are actually going to take I'm going to take a short break from running this campaign. It's only going to be a week or two. I'm very eager to get back into it, but I need time to prepare for what comes next and what has happened to Providence and our characters. I will say the four of you have leveled up. Surprise, surprise. You're level 7 now. Well done for surviving what could have been a deadly encounter. In this short break, we're hoping to bring you a one-shot. April might be doing something rather different. Sounds like fun if it comes together. We will keep you informed through social media if we remember to post to social media, which I'm really bad at, so I'm sorry about that. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon back in the Wandering Isles.